Yeah, Pasta YouTube, aka what's up YouTube? Welcome to round 1 of the MBC Season 2 playoffs. We are taking on Q, the Costa Rican. So if you guys are excited for this and us to hopefully win a championship in Gen 9, make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below and answer the question of the day, which will be on the battle later. If you guys want to skip to the battle, go ahead and do so. But for those of you who are going to watch this, then this will be the first of 2 times you'll be hearing this. But unfortunately, my side of this battle got corrupted. However, though, I was able to replay the game on Showdown because it was a really straightforward battle. So it was basically the entire same game. It's just I redid it on Showdown. And if you guys want to see Q's live version of the game, then definitely go check out his side. But yeah, unfortunately, just my side was... the video file was just corrupted, so that also happened with my week 9 battle. And yeah, I uninstalled and reinstalled OBS, so hopefully it'll be okay. But let's take a look here at the team preview. So first off, we made the playoffs. That in itself is absolutely amazing. I'm super happy about that. That was the main goal initially, and any point from here is just us going up. So yeah, hopefully we can win and get that chip at the end here. So looking at the matchup here, first off, shout out to the front office homies for helping me for this matchup. Q has the ever terrifying combo of Gouging Fire plus Greninja. That was a giant issue back in week 6, I believe, when we played Ellie. That offensive combination is absurdly terrifying. He also has 2 very tricky Terra Captains and Terra Rillaboom and Terra Hatterene, which depending on what they run could be very problematic. In mocks they were very annoying. And then he has the Galar Zapdos, which is absurdly terrifying. That is probably a giant threat alongside Greninja and Gouging Fire. And then Ursaluna, depending on the set, could be a problem. Blood Moon is very annoying. But it depends on what he's going to be running on it. And then Weezing, Fortress, Masquerain, and Frostlass are probably the 4 mons that I'm very unlikely to see him bringing to this game. Like, his top 6 just absolutely destroy me, and it's what I'm mainly expecting. So yeah, this was very annoying. So our first team member here is going to be, of course, our horsepower that has been taking our squad to victory. That is going to be Iamwombo. We are running 4 attacks booster energy with Terra Bug Mega Horn because Rillaboom is annoying. And in mocks, I never really found myself setting up, and instead wishing I had another coverage move. So I was like, you know what? We're going to go 4 offensive moves. Quick Attack is there in case I have to proc my booster energy early, and then I can at least come in and maybe pick something off with Quick Attack. Surprise maybe the Rillaboom, Greninja, or the Zapdos. And then Mighty Cleave, Close Combat, and Mega Horn hit everything else. Zen Headbutt arguably could be put on this, but after some chip damage, Zapdos is put in range of Mighty Cleave anyways, so I'm not too concerned about that. And then if it does Close Combat, then there's a better chance that we knock it out with that. Next off, we have Rotom, Fan, Terra Steel. Now, I am going to try not to Terra this, but this is really nice in case Blood Moon potentially gets out of hand, or if I need to Terra in front of the Rillaboom potentially, or maybe out of being weak to Ice Beam for the Greninja, or if I need to resist the Dragon move from the Gouging Fire. But Light Screen is mainly there because we take physical hits pretty well. I'm not too concerned about taking hits on the physical side. The Light Screen is mainly just there for the Blood Moon, Greninja, and the Hatterene. And then from there, Thunder Wave is really great just to paralyze what we can. Then we can Air Slash them down, and Discharge is just good damage for also potentially getting paralysis and not having to switch out if we were to have something like Volt Switch. So our next team member is going to be Colberberry Sinistcha. I was really debating what exactly I wanted to run on Sinistcha, and I figured this time around we're going to go with a Calm Mindset because in a mock, this was able to put in a good bit of work. And Colberberry is really great in case he is Swords Dance or Banded Rillaboom, and if we have to take a Dark Pulse from the Greninja in a pinch. That could also come in really handy. And then depending on the Gouging Fire set, we can 1v1 that, as well as just being a good potential win con if we are able to calm Mind up twice. It's going to be pretty hard for him to try and break through us. Next off, we have Jirachi, which most likely is going to be our lead, depending on what 6 he brings. If he brings the top 6, I think I lead with this always. And the nice thing about that is that we can surprise him potentially with a Power Herb Meteor Beam turn 1, as I don't think he'll lead Scarf Zapdos and stay in on me. I think he'll U-turn and switch out of there, and then we can catch something coming in, which would be absolutely amazing. And then from there, we're at +1. We have enough speed for the Gouging Fire, I believe, and I don't think he's going to lead Greninja or switch it in on this. So hopefully this can try and take something down with it if it is our lead. Next off, we have Gunther rocking a very, very fat defensive set. This is kind of also a backup answer to his Gouging Fire, although it is really good to switch into the Blood Moon and the Hatterene, and I guess the Frostlass as well. Again, I don't expect his bottom 4 whatsoever, so we can take hits from the special mons, and then we can eat even a +2 hit from the Gouging Fire, which could definitely come in handy. And then rocks are really nice if we are able to get them up. Whirlwind to phase him around, Ruination, and Stomping Tantrum for stab. And then our final team member is going to be a very interesting Urshifu set. We are running Max Badef, Careful with Assault Vest. This is able to eat any potential 2 hits from his Greninja depending on what set it's running. So that is going to be absolutely amazing. We live 2 extra sensories potentially. And then from there we can obliterate him with Searching Strikes into Aqua Jet, or if he is Battle Bond, we eat any hit, go for close combat and blow him back, and we can still gain momentum with U-turn, and Aqua Jet is just nice along with Quick Attack to potentially pick off his offense. So yeah, this was a very annoying matchup because Q's offensive threats are very, very problematic for us to deal with, but hopefully we can pull out a victory here and keep the playoff dream alive. So with that being said, this was a little bit longer than I had expected, so let's go ahead and jump into the battle. Okay, pause YouTube, aka what's up YouTube? Welcome to round 1 of the MBC Season 2 playoffs. So if you guys skipped the team builder, quick recap. Unfortunately, my Wi-Fi replay of this was corrupted, so my side of the video wasn't able to be replayed, and I couldn't edit it or do anything with it. So the good thing about it is that this match was pretty straightforward, so it was actually pretty easy to recreate on Showdown. I think maybe like one turn might be different, but I'll touch on that when we get to it. So yeah, if you guys are excited for this, make sure to hit that thumbs up button down below and leave a comment. The question of the day will be somewhere on your screen. We made it to playoffs, guys. I'm so happy we made it to playoffs. A part of me did not expect us to make it here after the rough start that we had at the beginning of the season. I did do a recap of the regular season that went up last week if you guys want to check that video out. So we are taking on Q, the Costa Rican, who absolutely botted me the last time that we played in playoffs. His channel link will be down below, so definitely go ahead and check him out. So this is cross division playoffs because it was 2 separate divisions this season. So this matchup was a little bit annoying to prep for, not gonna lie, so thank you to the front office homies. So looking at the team preview, he brought almost everything I had initially expected. I wasn't really expecting Frostlass. The major thing I was really surprised he didn't bring was Galar Zapdos. Galar Zapdos would have been a giant issue, but he didn't bring it. Now because he brought Frostlass, I'm expecting him to want to lead with that. So initially my plan was to lead off with Jirachi, but because there's no Galar Zapdos and he has Frostlass, I'm thinking, okay, he'll lead off with Frostlass. So let's go ahead and jump right into this, as I end up leading off with my Urshifu. He ends up leading off with the Frostlass. Immediately I'm going to go for the Surging Strikes. Now even though I don't knock out the Frostlass, I do put it in range potentially of an Aqua Jet. I was fearing obviously the Curse Body, but depending on his investment, I might have been able to knock him out with Surging Strikes plus Aqua Jet. So worst case, he might have just been able to get up a layer of spikes, and then I can Aqua Jet him. So he actually ends up switching right into his Rillaboom, and I make a bit of a risky play because first of all, I'm naturally faster than Rillaboom, so I'm thinking either I'll outspeed him or he'll expect me to bring in my Rotom or Sinistcha. Turns out that he's actually faster than me, so he's running a lot of speed on this. As we eat the knockoff, I get the U-turn off into my Rotom. I'm going to go straight for the Air Slash. I just want to be aggressive. He really does not have a safe switch into this outside of the Ursaluna, as we do a good chunk of damage to him. Now in Mox, Ursaluna was a little bit of a problem because a Calm Mind could have been an issue. So expecting him to either go for the specially offensive move or go for the Calm Mind, I'm going to go for a Light Screen. Now even though we did lose the Assault Vest on Urshifu, I can Light Screen and then just hard into Urshifu if he did want to go for the Calm Mind and then go from there. But he goes straight for the Blood Moon, which even through Light Screen still does a 45%, which is ridiculous, man. Ursaluna Blood Moon is a mon I really want to use in a future draft. So he goes for the Blood Moon. I'm thinking, okay, I can just spam Air Slash here, maybe try and flinch him as he goes for the Hyper Voice. We do live. Turns out that he's Throat Spray, which I was not expecting whatsoever. I thought that he might go for a Moonlight or Calm Mind, but no, he Throat Sprays, gets the +1, and then just knocks out Rotom. So this is kind of a problem because now Rillaboom becomes a bit more of an issue, and we know that he has knockoff. So I lost my main answer to Rillaboom. Luckily though, he didn't have Galar Zapdos, so it's not as terrifying in this scenario. But Rillaboom is definitely now a bit more of a problem. So as he knocks me out, I bring in my Urshifu. I have Light Screen up. I really don't fear anything that he wants to go for, so I'm thinking that he's just going to sack off the Rillaboom, but he makes the crazy play I thought he was going to sack off the Ursaluna, and he makes the crazy play into the Rillaboom, which I was not expecting. Like, a part of me wanted to go for close combat, but I was like, I don't want to lower my defenses and then allow something to potentially come in, as he does actually make the crazy play and brings in the Rillaboom. So now I don't want to stay in and potentially take a Grassy Glide or more terrifyingly a Wood Hammer. So I am going to switch directly into my Sinistcha, as he actually does go for the Grassy Glide. And this is not the worst thing ever because he doesn't necessarily have a safe switch into my Sinistcha. I could have maybe gone for Calm Mind here, but I really didn't want to risk it in case he was Swords Dance or he tried to U-turn into something like the Gouging Fire and maybe tried to get that going. So we're able to knock out the Rillaboom, which is great. As in comes the Frostlass. I am fearing the Ice move as he makes a great play and goes for the Lara Spikes on my switch into the Urshifu as he goes for the Thunder Wave. So he does hit as I go for the Surging Strikes. In the Wi-Fi battle, he ends up getting the Curse Body here on my Surging Strikes. But it actually turns out that the 3 hits still go through Curse Body. So even though he did get the Curse Body on my first hit, I still hit my other 2 Surging Strikes, but the following turns I won't have access to Surging Strikes unless I switch out or I believe the Curse Body ends. So we're just going to pretend that he has a Curse Body on me right now. So the following turn, I'm like, okay, he's in Aqua Jet range. I can just Aqua Jet and knock him out. But in the Wi-Fi battle, he ended up getting a full paralysis on me, but he ended up going for the Poltergeist. And because he knocked off my Assault Vest earlier in the match, it was basically just a dead turn. I got fully paralyzed. He went for Poltergeist and did no damage to me. So the following turn, I break the paralysis and I'm able to knock him out with the Aqua Jet. So here, I believe my Surging Strikes was still disabled. So as he brings in the Hatterene, I'm going to make a bit of a risky play and go for the U-turn. In the initial battle, I didn't get a crit, but the crit doesn't really end up mattering here, as I U-turn into my Jirachi because this is my best switch-in that I have for this Hatterene, as we know that he is Terra Water. Sorry, I forgot to mention that earlier at the team preview, but he is Terra Water. Turns out to have a Trick Room Terra Blast Water, and he's Life Orbed. Good Arceus that did so much damage as we go for the Meteor Beam. Unfortunately, we're not quite strong enough to knock him out, but we do knock him into range of the Life Orb, as it is going to be a double down. Now, even though I do have a paralyzed Urshifu that outspeeds everything in Trick Room, I really don't want to risk getting fully paralyzed, and I assumed he would bring in Ursaluna regardless. As we are able to outspeed him in the Trick Room, we should be able to eat anything he wants to go for, as he goes for the Blood Moon, doing a nice little chunk of damage as we're able to two-shot him with the Stomping Tantrum. At this point, he's down to Gouging Fire and the Greninja, which, depending on their sets, could honestly still beat us, because Greninja plus Gouging Fire is an insanely terrifying combo to deal with, as he ends up bringing in the Greninja instead of the Gouging Fire. I'm expecting him to either knock me out and get the Battle Bond, and as long as he's not Focus Ashed, then that's good. In hindsight, I could have also hard switched right into my Urshifu, but if he was Life Orb, then potential Hydro Pump into Extra Sensory I think might have knocked me out, because we did lose our Assault Vest. So I stay in just sacking Tanglu, honestly, but he actually ends up going for the U-turn. Turns out that he's Protean. In comes the Gouging Fire on the Stomping Tantrum. He's not Weakness Policy. This is amazing, because now what I can do is live a hit and then just go for the Whirlwind. As I Whirlwind him out on the Dragon Dance back into the Greninja, he goes for the Hydro Pump, which is fine by me, because now that we know he is Protean and not Battle Bond, we don't got to worry about that. But I still don't know what kind of item he is carrying. So even if he was Choice Scarfed after Booster Energy, Boulder is able to outspeed. Much like earlier, I could have brought in Urshifu here, but I risked getting potentially paralyzed. Or if he went for the Extra Sensory, he could have been able to 2-KO me. I think I lived one from full, even though he knocked off my Assault Vest. But I figured that Boulder was a safer play. We are Terra Bug, which he doesn't show Life Orb, so I don't think there is any way he's able to one-shot us. Now, I could have gone for Terra Bug Mega Horn here, and I think the minimum damage I did to him was like 85% depending on his HP investment, but I really didn't want to risk missing the hit, so I am going to go for the safe Mighty Cleave. And I think I did check the calc, and we did live a Hydro Pump if that's what he wanted to go for. Unless he was Specs and got a crit, I think that was the only way that he knocked us out. But he doesn't crit us, and we're able to knock him out with 2 Mighty Cleaves. In comes the Gouging Fire, and down goes the Gouging Fire, and we're able to make it to round 2 of the playoffs for Season 2 of the MBC. So we got next round. If we win that round, which is quarterfinals, then we go to semifinals and we go to finals. So we got to win 3 more games still to be able to get a championship in Generation 9. So yeah, obviously on Wi-Fi this game was a lot more intense. Again, I apologize. Hopefully this is not corrupt. I uninstalled and reinstalled OBS, so hopefully things will be okay. And hopefully you guys did enjoy this re-mock of the actual Wi-Fi battle. And if you guys want to go and check out Q's side, I'm pretty sure I replayed it back down to the T. Minus like the paralysis on Urshifu and the Poltergeist and the Curse Body. But yeah, we made it to round 2. I'm really happy about that. We made it farther already than I initially thought, so anything from here is us just going up and hopefully getting that championship. So if you guys did enjoy, make sure to like, answer the comment question of the day, and I will see you all next week with quarterfinals. So thank you all for watching. Later, everybody.